All right, here we go. 10 practice rules that some of them you will use for the rest of your life, and then others will definitely challenge you to practice a different way. So let's begin. Number 1, success ratio. For every artistic or technical or performance obstacle you have, you must be able to achieve that task successfully at a high percentage. For example, if you get a shift 1 out of 10 times, that's a pretty terrible percentage. But in performing arts, we aim for excellence, and excellence is anywhere from 90 to 99%. 2, analytical mode versus performance mode. Now, when we are in the practice room, we're constantly in analytical mode, where we're asking ourselves, okay, I have this obstacle, what technique, exercise, or strategy should I use to improve my chances of getting over this obstacle? Okay, great, I have a shift. Okay, now I need to maybe loosen my arm. Okay, now I'm getting it. Okay, great. Very logical, very rational, very problem solving. Meanwhile, we also need to practice performance mode. Performance mode is where we're just feeling the performance, the characters, and the intention, the artistic intention. And we're just exuding that and practicing actually performing. Because ultimately, when we hit the stage or the audition, that's what we're in. We are in performance mode. 3, practice performing. So similar to performance mode, right, you want to practice performing in the practice room, but also bring it out to the public, right? Bridge the gap between the practice room and the stage, right? Practice room equals comfort and safety versus a stage, which is pressure, judgment, and social rejection. So practice performing in public. Number 4, do not take mistakes personally. Instead of taking mistakes personally, just see it as something to do, like a simple to-do list at a grocery store. Now the opposite is if you do take it personally, all of a sudden you get more discouraged, you get more emotionally invested, and you get defensive, right? You're defending yourself. It's like, oh no, I don't want to do that, or oh, it's fine, like I don't have to do it. Just be honest with yourself, look at your to-do list and be like, okay, this is what I'm doing today in my practice room. We're gonna get this until it's done. 5, constantly adjust your practice strategy. Now what I mean by this is 2 ideas. One is improvement mode versus maintenance mode. Improvement mode is maybe a technical obstacle that you just have to keep on grinding out, repetitions, adjusting, applying different strategies. Okay, great, you got it. You put a month's work into it. You put hours into it. Now it's good. Okay, since it's good, you have to realize, oh, time is precious. I should focus on the next obstacle instead of continually trying to improve that aspect, which I've already gotten to a large success percentage. Therefore, that goes into maintenance mode. What do I have to do in order to keep that high level I achieve, but not overinvest my time? 6, build in safety spots. Now, in my quartet, when we have a very difficult passage, maybe the rhythms are all very complicated and you harmonically can't really understand it, and you have to end up on this one beat, well, we have what we call ASCs, which stands for butt saving cues. So when somebody cues, that's where we are. And that's a very large overview, kind of safety spot, but you can also get more specific. You can practice instead of from just the beginning to end, you can practice from different sections. So end of the section to the end. Okay, previous section to the end. Or you can go even smaller and do phrase by phrase or note by note. And that might get a little obsessive, but if you get to the stage and the pressure is there and you make a mistake, you are already trained in your mind to keep on going from that very note. Number 7, the 10,000 hour rule. Now, this one we have all heard of, where it takes this amount of time to master your art form, and that might be true, but when it comes to preparing a piece or an audition, it's going to take less time, and it better take less time, and it's less about the amount of hours, but more about the focused practice. So make sure every time you're going into the practice, you have a clear strategy and you have clear goals that you have to achieve. Number 8, plan your practice breaks. Now, this depends on your own learning style. For example, I know people who can work 4 hours straight, don't need a break, and they actually pull off quite a bit of quality practice. Meanwhile, like me, I have to schedule a break every 50 minutes. And that's just how I practice best. So whatever it is that works for you, just make sure you plan your breaks and that you're using them wisely to create powerful, efficient, quality practice sessions. Number 9, over practice. Now, what I mean by this is not to drill your performance to where it's just numb in your body and it's meaningless now, it's not fresh anymore. What I mean is to get your performance to a place of automaticity. Automaticity is where you can be doing this task, performing, and be thinking about something else or be distracted, or when the pressure comes, right? This is why it's important to get up to the point of automaticity. When the pressure comes, you may start being distracted, but you will still perform. For example, in my Curtis audition, I got so nervous that my memory blanked and I had no idea what was happening, but I somehow finished my Bach fugue. Now, if that's not automaticity, I don't know what is. Now, another big reason to bring it up to the level of automaticity is because as a professional, you might have a couple performances in a row. And each of those performances are unique in their own beautiful way, but at the same time, you cannot expect to perform your best every single time. Your mind may wander, but at least you'll still be giving the audience a quality performance. All right, on to our last and final rule, which is probably the most important one, and that is do not procrastinate. Now, I'm guilty of it, a lot of people are guilty of it, but try to just minimize your procrastination because honestly, we know how many thousands of micro goals it takes to get your performance to a peak level. Okay, and if you wait off and you just kind of push it aside, well, you have less time to reinforce and make things automatic and make things to a high level and address every single detail so you can feel comfortable and confident walking on stage and performing your best. So those are the top 10 rules. And if you have any other rules, make sure to comment below and ask yourself, what rules am I going to incorporate in my practice session today? Anyway, thanks for listening, and I'll catch you in the next video. If you have any questions, please comment below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for the latest updates and visit LiberatedPerformer.com if you want to learn more about how to be a great performer.